Welcome back for the Mobile Gaming Fanatics. MyTyme here. This is Top Drives, and no, I haven't disappeared again. I was just away on holiday back, and unfortunately, I do not have anything to show from the Donk of War finals. The Tri Series was back, and the prize card was lovely, but no, I wasn't playing, so can't show anything good there. And I don't think I'd have even got anything, even if I could enter and play properly. I'm pretty sure I didn't really have the cards required to get the prize card, so I decided, what can I do now? And I thought, let's actually take a bit of a closer look at my garage after this World Expo patch and see what kind of impact it's had. Now, before we do, one thing I'm going to say, there are some challenges out at the moment which I find quite interesting. First one, we have this EXP collection one, where basically you can play through one attempt a day. I personally wouldn't bother refreshing these, doing more than one a day, because you've got plenty of time to do it. You get the EX pack, you get a car to go with it. It's normally, or so far it's only been an uncommon, and then you can come back and you can enter this EXPO campaign, and it will require certain amounts of EXP, which you obviously gain from that previous challenge, in order to unlock the further ones and play through. And again, these can have up to 10 attempts, plenty of time to do it, and you get various rewards at the end, with the best reward possible. No, not being this. Where is it? Let's come back to here we go. We've got a Di Tommaso here, so you can get an epic car from this. Technically doesn't cost you anything. You can just play through it in the 180 odd days remaining. Now, they do also have a paid EXP collection, which is the premium and the supercharged. I'm not going to go into it too much, just going to show you, if you want to buy the tokens for those, they can be purchased here, the premium and the supercharged, for your respective prices. One thing is important to note: if you were planning on spending some money, for example on buying, I'm just going to pick this carbon fiber pack, or in fact any of the carbon fiber packs, even this World Expo one for example, once the offers are done, you can compare the prices, you can see how much the gold is, you can go into the store, check how much that kind of gold is going to cost you, and then you can work out if you think these challenges are worth it. But just bear in mind, come through, check rewards. As you can see here, the final reward is a World Expo carbon fiber, and the first reward for completing is also a World Expo carbon fiber. Now, I wouldn't bother using the gold to refresh the attempts. I just take the 40 odd days or whatever it does to get all the way through. That's me personally. But for that money, these two Expo carbon fibers, by buying that pass, are going to be cheaper than you buying them both individually. And on top of that, you do get gold 10 slots here, and as we move across, there's a World Expo ceramic here, so that's going to be 5 more Expo cards, more slots, and again we get another carbon fiber. So in terms of actual value compared to the other things in the store, I'd say that they are worth it if you were intending to spend on them anyway, or on the game. But obviously if you want that gratification straight away, you're going to have to wait and come back every day to do the campaign. If you want to get all the rewards in one go, you can't get that from there unless you refresh, which would be a complete waste of gold. So one thing to think of for those of you who are looking to purchase things from the store. But let's just bring back to my garage. Now, first of all, I'm just going to go through and show you the kind of World Expo cars that I've got. So nothing amazing. Okay, we do have the Hennessy Venom, and I did get an Audi A5 Sportsback soon, which I'm probably going to max out at some point. You can notice here my resources are pretty low, and I'm going to have to at some point start thinking about where I'm going to put the rest of my tokens. There's about 15 days I think left into my other cars, and we'll come to that in just a moment. If you see any cars here that I have, especially the lower rarity ones, I will work on these Hummers soon, that you think, oh yeah, that's a really good car, make sure you upgrade that MyTyme. Let me know in the comments section below. Tell me which of these kind of lower rarity cars that maybe you see I haven't started to really work on that are worth keeping and maxing out straight away, and I will start to get to work on some of these. Obviously, with a lot of cars introduced to the game, this collection will grow over time, but as I am struggling at the moment for cash, I'm probably not going to work on everything straight away. Now, my theory was one or two things are going to happen when a big update like this occurs, especially when there's so many RQ changes and cars moving up and down rarities. Either my garage is going to get a nice big buff, or it's going to be demolished. And I think it's the latter. I think my gallery has taken a significant hit, and I'm going to explain why. And you guys can also let me know if you think yours has been buffed or kind of hindered from this update. But I'm not too worried about, you know, some of the changes. Just a couple of RQ changes, stat changes for some of the cars, fine. But I've noticed a real big impact in my legendary and epic area, and we'll come to why in just a moment. But I can show you here, for example, the Mazda 3, which I have maxed out as an epic, is now a legendary. Now if I want to go and max this car out, we can see here I do have some legendary fusion these token things, but I'm still going to have to upgrade my cash and then use some cars, because if I click on fuse, I don't have the fusion tokens. Is that what they're called? Fusion tokens? Upgrade tokens? Yeah, so I don't have the upgrade tokens. Okay, so doing it again, I can, for example, come back into me, come on, here we go. So I can, for example, upgrade without spending cash 35 times, but I've still got to fuse cars in my garage. And as we can see here, a couple of cars, yes, that used to be epic and have gone down to ultra rare, which I will be using at some time in the near future. Hopefully I better pull these cars as ultra rare before I fuse them again. If not, I'm going to have to decide if it's more valuable for me to keep the cars or to use them as fuse while I can. I mean, I'll probably keep these, to be honest with you, and try and fuse them, see if I can pull a second one of them, because I don't have a lot of epic cars. Now, not all these cars are necessarily cars that I was going to fuse, but they just haven't been locked for any reason. But you can see, don't really have too many cars loitering around. So from a resource perspective, I can't max out this Mazda 3 again like it was before. So it's probably going to remain as a stock car in my garage for a while, regardless of even all the other kind of legendary cars that I've still got to work on, which I can't. And as I move down, for getting a few changes to some of my cars, some have been good, some have been bad, I see a really big problem, and this is the key thing to me here, and we'll come up to it in just a moment. So we'll start on this part. In fact, we'll start here. So I have the Renault Megane now and the Caterham Superlight, which have both been promoted to legendary, and I have both gone down to stock. As we've just seen, I can't max out either of these two cars, not at the moment anyway. Am I going to max out the Renault Sport Megane Trophy as a legendary? I'm not sure. I mean, if I was going to use my resources, there's quite a few other cars I have up here that I'd be more inclined to work on than that. Not to say that this car isn't still a good car, or that the Superlight isn't still a good car. It's just priority wise, I could only max out, for example, one legendary at the moment. Is it going to be one of these two? Well, probably not. I already have the Caterham 7 here, not max, but on its way. So why should I upgrade the Superlight? It doesn't make much sense really. I might as well just use the Caterham 7 instead. I think it's one upgrade away from being maxed. Yeah, one upgrade away from being maxed. So it makes more sense for me to max out my Caterham 7 620R, and then I just leave the R500 here for now. Now, cars like the Aston Martin DBS, which has got a slight well, I don't know if it's buff or not, its handling's gone down slightly. Its 0 to 60 has gone up. It had decent MRA before, so I'm assuming it's still got pretty decent MRA. But cars like this now, I'm probably going to be a little more likely to use, because other cars, namely these two, have been demolished. Okay, I don't have them leveled up at all. So now that they've come up to the same kind of RQs, it's like, well, I could throw all my resources in here, or, you know, I've got to use something that's kind of twisty. I've got some RQ, okay, maybe I'll try the Super Leggera. So I'm going to have to mix my gallery around a bit and see what actually I do use and don't use, because there's certain cars now that have kind of dropped off, basically just dropped off the face of the earth for me. And it gets even worse, because here, and this is my main contention with this patch, I've had both my Evos upgraded, to legendaries and the BMW. But if I take Lancer 10 for example, this car I used to use everywhere. Okay, literally everywhere in this game. I mean, yes, I've owned it for a while, 1200 odd days, but I've used it nearly 5,000 times. And bear in mind, I've not used this since the patch update. Okay, so for the last 2 weeks or whatever, I've not used this car. Otherwise, this would have been over 5,000. I've just lost my kind of power for city streets, etc. These two cars, but especially the Evo 10, were constantly used for city streets, wet, etc. by myself. They were, in my opinion, the best kind of cars in the game for that. By the fact that they were epic, so you could level them up a bit easier, and they still had amazing stats. I mean, yes, it was like 3.3, depending how you leveled it out. I think mine was 98 or 97. I didn't do it the way I wanted to, but you get the drift. Now, what do? Do I max one of these two cars? Do I go and do the Superlight? Is it better to do the Mega and the Renault Megane Sport Trophy? Do I go and work on another car that I've got? The Audi RS7 Sportsback. Well, now this car pretty much is definitely not getting worked on now. I might have started to work on it when it was an epic. Now that's just going to sit in my garage. I don't have the same strength and depth now in those medium ground clearance cars. I've just lost everything. I didn't care about the AMG because I wasn't using it anyway, so it didn't make any difference that this car got upgraded. Hasn't changed at all. I wasn't using it before. I'm not going to be putting any resources into it at the moment either. But as I then scroll through, I now find that the strength of my epic gallery has been diminished. Now, cars like the KTM Crossbow are probably going to get used more. I come down the Cadillac ATS-V. Well, the car that I had initially looked over, probably going to have to max this out. Do I want to use all these resources on it? Not too sure I do. I mean, it's an alright car now that it's come. In fact, now it's come down to epic. It makes it a far better car because it's got the medium ground clearance. So, like, yes, I can. Now, I might actually get some use out of this car, but it's not four-wheel drive like my Evo was. I'd prefer to have had the Evo as the epic. And then as we scroll down again, suddenly this Subaru probably going to have to use. This Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 6 probably going to be more prominent in my gallery. Why? Well, because I need that medium ground clearance four-wheel drive. This doesn't have traction control, not as good in the rain as my previous Evo 10. The WRX, probably going to have to keep a couple of the Subarus now. Why? Because they at least come with four-wheel drive traction control. Not the best car there is, but these are cars that I'm now going to have to use more. The Audi that I just pulled, probably going to have to work on this because it's got standard tyres, four-wheel drive, medium ground clearance. It's going to become possibly a more useful car in my gallery. And then as I go across again here, I've maxed out two Evos. Yes, okay, I can still use these cars, and I probably will use them a bit more now that the other ones have gone. But my Evo 4s, and I'm sure everyone else is probably feeling the same, have just lost a lot of their viability. Like, I'm not maxing out 3 of these. I've only done 2 of them just because I'm going to assume I'm still going to use them quite a lot. The fact that I've lost my other Evos, but this one here is probably going to get probably going to be used as a fuse at some point because all these cars were originally ultra rares. And then as we scroll down and we come to, the same thing is going to happen with some other cars. So Lotus Evora, yeah, okay, this might now become a car that I use a bit more often. Same with Exige, because maybe I'll max these out with my tokens. Maybe I'll decide that these are going to be my new track cars. But as you can see here, I've only got a couple of cars that I can do this to before I have to start using my resources. And as you can see, resources are pretty slim at the moment. So I've actually got to make some choices. And yeah, the main thing I'm just sitting here thinking is I've lost my favourite kind of cars, my go-to cars, literally since I got them. Since the start of the game, pretty much had this Evo. To have it for 1200 odd days gives you an inkling that it's well over 3 years, 3.5 years. So yeah, that's kind of my my thoughts on it really. It's not a rant so much. There's always going to be changes in games, and some for the better, some for the worse. I still feel it's a good idea for them to do it all in one go now to get out of the way, rather than it dribs and drabs over months and constantly frustrating people. At least people can get used to the changes now and kind of carry on moving forward. But I feel I've lost a lot of my, well, I've lost a lot of cars that I was using on a regular basis in certain events and situations. In fact, in quite a lot of events and situations. I don't think enough of my cars have, gained anything. Does that make sense? I don't feel enough cars have come down from legendary into epic, or from epic into rare, that I'm now like, okay, these are cars that I can now use a lot. I thought I've lost more cars which have gone up in rarity that I can't now max out and use. So I feel this patch has hindered me more than it has helped. But let me know what you think about your garages in the comment section below. And as ever, if you've liked and enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, tell me down below. Once again, thank you all for watching. I'm going to come back when we have some new events, something that comes out a bit more interesting. I'm going to try and actually participate, see if I can do half decent and bring a prize car to the garage. Thanks again. I've been MyTyme. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.